Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of HPCritical, the podcast where my friends and I talk all things gaming. I'm Jerel, joined by Brandon, Kellie, and Gabe, and this week we've got a lot of stuff to cover because I'm sure you guys missed us last week, so we're here with a little bit of stuff from last week and everything from this week right before E3. And to begin with, because we're going to jump right into it, Brandon is going to tell us a little bit about a tweet and ask us a question.
Absolutely. So, this was a few weeks ago at this point, but basically a Twitter user by the name of Paris, at Vicious696, tweeted something interesting to the following. Republic Commando game featuring the Bad Batch. And that tweet resonated with me basically because I was literally thinking the same thing. Because, like, I watched the Bad Batch and I had played Republic Commando, at the beginning of the month for, like, Star Wars Day. And that's literally just, like, that's all I was thinking about, like, if they redid or did a new Republic Commando with the Bad Batch themselves. So it did get me thinking because that would be, of course, a revival if they did that, like of the Republic Commando IP, so to speak, featuring the Bad Batch. And we have that with the Battlefront games where they were gone and now they're back. So the question I have to all of you is, do you have a classic Star Wars franchise, a gaming that is, that you guys enjoyed? And if so, what would you like to see return? We'll start with Jerel.
I was going to say the funny part is I'm prepared for this question and I don't have the answer. But I do. It is Battlefront because that's the only Star Wars game I played. That's it.
Gabe.
For me, it'd have to be the actual games based off the movies that came out from Lucas Art, I believe it was, way back when.
Yes.
I don't remember Phantom Menace that much, but I do remember like a Naboo level where I was Qui-Gon Jinn. That was pretty fun. But Revenge of the Sith, for what it was like actually a pretty damn good, movie to game, video game. I like to see, that get, a nice little like, oh, like here, it's been a while since you've actually played through the movies. Let's remake them a little bit better.
That'd be cool.
And this came out I think on PS3. It was one of the old Clone War games, but it was a Clone War game based off like the beginning of the series, not what we have now.
Yeah, you're talking about the Star Wars, the Clone Wars video game, correct?
Yeah,
the one that came out like right after Attack of the Clones.
No, this one like had the art style of of the current Clone Wars, but like it literally released I think like around season 2 or 3 of the first Clone Wars. It's a very not well known game.
Was it on the Wii by chance?
I actually can't remember. I just remember playing it on PS3.
Okay. Yeah, I might have gotten a PS3 port as well, because there was a game called Star Wars Clone Wars Republic Heroes, I think it was called, which was really ambitious. Unfortunately, that game was actually trash. Which is sad to say, because I love the Clone Wars, and they got all the voice actors. Literally, they got the entire cast of the show to reprise their roles for this thing. The visuals looked like it was like from the Clone Wars, but no, that game was not.
Yeah, that's the game, Republic Heroes. Yeah.
Oh man, and I was so disappointed because it had all these systems where you could do all the cool stuff from the show, but it just was not implemented well at all. And apparently there was a DS one that had like an exclusive plot, like that was actually really good, but that one was also not good. But it did have like interesting concepts, which they ended up using for an arc in season 3. So at least it wasn't all to waste. But yeah. All right. Hey Kellie, what about you?
I've only really played Battlefront, but I think that if I was gonna like create one out of my own head, like to see something. I think you said it I feel like you said it before, but it was like that MMO. Is that the Old Republic?
Yeah, well, there's the Old Republic, which is the current MMO, but before that, there was Star Wars Galaxies, I think it was called. It was the former MMO that they had.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see something like that, but I've played a lot of Battlefront. Used to be one of my main games that I played, so I'd like to see them making those. Yeah, I'd like to see a Star Wars MMO. I just think that would be really fun. I've never played one, but I want to. So if that answers the question, I'm in.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so for me, there is quite a lot of like classic Star Wars games that I've touched over the years. I loved Bounty Hunter, loved Knights of the Republic. Like you guys said, Battlefront. I love the original Battlefront. I like the current Battlefront a lot. I already said the Republic Commando, but My actual answer is a bit of a wild card because on that same May the 4th stream, I played Republic Commando, but before that I had also played Episode 1 Racer, and that game really does hold up, honestly. Like, graphically, it's a game that came out in the 64 Dreamcast, so obviously graphically, it don't look that impressive today. But gameplay-wise, it's solid. It is incredibly solid. I am shocked at how smooth that game still felt in 2021. And I honestly enjoyed it more than like F-Zero games, which as a Nintendo fan seems like blasphemous to say, but it's the truth. If I had gun to hell was held to my head and I had to choose between getting a new Star Wars Episode Racer game or F-Zero, I would choose the Episode Racer game. I'm sorry, F-Zero fans. I like Captain Falcon, Falcon Punch, all that good stuff. But like Episode 1 Racer is clean, man, and they could do more with the universe, especially with like the current canon. They have so much more planets that they can draw upon. Yeah, that'd be great. And too, because I love Knights of the Republic. It's my favorite Star Wars game of all time. But anyway, that's all. That's me.
Bro,
Take it away, Jerel.
Why did you choose violence, bro? Why you gotta? Why do you have to like kill yourself? Like, why does a gun have to be held to your head?
I'm just saying, if I had to choose between one, like people, you see Twitter takes all the time about people asking me F-Zero, and like I get it because I have played F-Zero and I love that series, but like. I was just shocked about like Episode 1 Racer is a very similar game. You got like these futuristic cars that are not really touching the ground and like going at a really fast pace through all these like space-like worlds, and I just really enjoyed it, man. It's like they're two very similar games, but like even barring the Star Wars license, it's just I just had a lot more fun playing Episode 1 Racer.
Well, speaking of making
just imagining. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
You're imagining what?
No, I was just gonna say I'm imagining. Who is walking around putting guns to people's heads and being like, you have to pick a Star Wars game?
Choose a Star Wars game now! I'd be like, oh my god, that's all I know.
I don't know if you're lying. I don't know, man. Okay. Anyways, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, so speaking of making decisions, voice actress Erin Fitzgerald revealed that she stepped down from the role of Ramlethal in Guilty Gear. In a tweet, she said, I happily stepped away so the developers could cast more appropriately. She expanded on that, stating that, she wanted to give voice actors of color opportunities to voice the very limited amount of POC characters in video games. Although, not necessarily in fighters. I feel like fighters are very diverse, but whatever. Do we have any opinions on this? Stepping down so that someone of the proper ethnicity can properly represent that character.
Well, my thoughts on the subject, basically, with her stepping down, like, obviously, she didn't have to. This was entirely her choice, and I do respect her decision on that. And like, again, I view acting and voice acting in pretty much the same context, because you're acting. It's acting. The only difference is, whether you're seen on screen or whether it's just your voice, but there's different ways in which that can be approached. And again, because they are both acting, there is a merit to having the same ethnicity voice a character of that role, because I think that brings something to the character that another race wouldn't be able to really nail down. Because there's this unfortunately happened when Mirko of My Hero Academia came out. She's voiced by oh my god, I don't want to even try to butcher her name. I would feel terrible. But she's like half black, half like Puerto Rican. And but she apparently, according to the people that heard her voice, didn't sound black. So she was under fire, like, oh, Mirko should be black. And then she was like, hi. So it was like, it's so stupid. But that is just to say that black does not have one sound, people. And that's, I think, important to note as well. That just because a character is black does not mean they're going to sound stereotypical in that sense. It's just like all different, You're going to say something, Jerel?
Yes. For anyone who's listening to this, do not fucking write a tweet again to HPCritical telling me that Mirko is not black. Please stop. I literally had a conversation with someone for like 4 days about it. And then someone else randomly, first of all, this happened in February and people are still finding that tweet. Do not write me about it, because I'm going to tell you the same thing I always say. Okay? That's it. Kellie, Gabe, do you guys care about, do you have anything to add to this conversation? No? Can I,
yeah. I have something, but I didn't know if Kellie was going to talk or not.
Okay. Kellie, you're muted.
I was muted. So I don't know. I feel like we have talked about stuff like this before. It's like, I feel like definitely representation is important. And I think that, I guess people of color should voice people of color or, like that. But I feel like there's some characters that they want a certain sound for. Like, what if you want it to sound a certain way and someone can make this voice? Like, I don't know. I don't really, I don't know, it just depends on what the director wants. But I don't know if people stepping down is like, I don't know. It feels like, why step down if you're already doing the voice? But at the same time, if you want to open the door for other creators, I think that's, no one asked you to do it, but I think giving people a chance is always good no matter what, so.
Yeah, and to be clear, she did this voluntarily.
Exactly, yeah. Voluntary,
no one asked her.
If it wasn't voluntary, then we might be having a very, very different discussion about this topic. But this was her choice.
Wait, what do you mean?
I respect it for it.
What do you mean? Like, if they were like, you know what, so we casted you, but we kind of want to have a black person play the black person, we're gonna have to give this role away, you think that would be unacceptable? Brandon?
Yeah, I kind of think so, to be perfectly honest, because, like, it would also depend on how she felt afterwards. Like, okay, in this case, it was 100% her decision, right? Let's give the example that she was let go, but she understood the reasoning, and I think that's okay too. But if she wasn't okay with it, well, I don't know, that would say more about Aaron Fitzgerald's character, I suppose, but, like, I just think there would be more to discuss there than, like,
you can't
it's
just
like, because, like...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, the fact that it's, like, amicable, like, I think speaks to Kellie's point where, like, if she wasn't ready the character, right? Because the fact is, like, I stand by what I said before, that I think that persons of color should voice persons of color, but, like, that's not always the case. It just isn't. And I don't think that necessarily makes the character worse for it.
I was just gonna say, I can just imagine her having a string of tweets being like, fuck them, they fired me so some black lady could voice this black character, fuck them, how dare they. Like, you're right, like, what are you supposed to do in that situation except for sound like an asshole?
Yeah.
Gabe,
right,
did
exactly.
you want to jump in on this before we move on?
No, I think everything's been said.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. You said that so solemnly. So, something else that came out last week
Everything's been said.
Right? Like, I think everything's been said. That's okay. So something else that came out last week was a survey that shows 59% of women hide their gender while gaming to avoid harassment. I want to tie that into something else as well, but let's talk about that first. Obviously, it's clearly true, first of all, so also anyone who's listening, I'm sure if you're listening, you don't doubt these statistics. Kellie, I'm going to ask you, how do you feel about hearing that 77% of women admit to dealing with some form of harassment while gaming?
I feel like that is very accurate because I have been harassed in online games, and I pulled up an article that has some interesting things in it, where actually they have proven. They did a study. This is on BBC.com, so it's legit, dude. I don't know. I saw a lot of articles about this, and I kind of remembered. So the men that harass women in online games, they harass women because they're of lower skill, and they try to maintain their status by being hostile towards women. Like, the higher skilled male players actually treat and are nicer to everyone because their status is like high, but women are a threat to the lower level male players. Like, I played that game Hyperscape a couple of matches, and I wasn't really that good, but I remember there was this guy that I was carrying the team, and he was starting to harass me, and I think it's because he was literally embarrassed that I was carrying the team. Like, it's a 3-person team, whatever, and, like, that's when I started getting harassed, and I'm like, okay, so it's someone who clearly is trying to, like, save face and not look like the worst player and try to make it, and just make me uncomfortable to where I would maybe, leave so then they can get their status back as, like, whatever. But I love the title of this article. It just says, Video game study finds losers more likely to harass women.
That is
And
so
that
good.
is
That's
the
great.
best title of an article ever.
Really
If you're
good.
bad at games, like, women aren't threatening that. You're just bad, dude. I'm gonna say what people have said to me on Twitch. Get good. Okay.
Oh no.
End quote.
Yeah. I've had to also.
GG. GLHF.
Hell yeah.
Look how fun. I've also had to deal with, harassment. I think I told you guys this behind the scenes, but sometimes when I go to, restaurants, people think that I'm a woman behind the mic. And that also happens when I game sometimes. I don't know how my voice gets distorted over the phone or through, microphones or something. But it always happens, and they're either like, this is a girl or some gay guy. And I too have to mute mics because I like to cuss bitches out. Or used to. I don't do that anymore. I'm too old for that. There's a statistic that I was looking for. I can't find it currently. I don't know what I did.
Still do.
But it was, I think it's like 41% of game console owners are now women, and a lot of people were like, there's no way that's true, like that's crazy, which is crazy in itself that people think that that's crazy. So of course when you look at these statistics, it's very much like, yeah, I totally believe that 77% of these women are being harassed because now more female gamers are coming in, like Kellie said, taking that space and turning it into, them being fucking awesome and winning. And then you have penises that are sad and mad because they aren't winning. So fuck you, limp dick bitches who are losers and harass women.
Straight up.
And with that, we're going to take a little break.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. So, another thing that happened last week was that Fortnite generated over $100 million in revenue for Apple. I'm not going to touch on that right now, but just know that I think that's a ridiculous amount of money. If anybody wants to say something really quickly about it, now's your chance.
I'm good. Money, I guess.
Fortnite suing, even though they were making so much money, I'm just still mad about it. I will never not be mad about it.
I will also
off.
never not be mad about it. If I'm making $100 million and y'all are fucking up my $100 million, I'm going to be very pissed off. Yeah, we're going to court, bitches. Like, that's ridiculous. But it doesn't matter because Apple's, owns the world. Also, last week, LEGO celebrated diversity with a rainbow set of minifigures, and I want to talk about that and just ask if there's anything that you guys want to see made into a Pride version.
I would love if Power Rangers got some Pride representation because there's already a lot of different colors of them. So, but I think it'd be really natural if there was a Ranger that was just like all the colors in one, like a
Rainbow Ranger.
Rainbow
That would be
Ranger.
That would be
You would
so
think that it was
cute.
a thing already. Why is it not?
You
a
would
thing?
think there's been so honestly, yes, I don't know how it's not been a thing. Or there's been so many Ranger colors. There was a Japanese Ranger that kind of a rainbow helmet, but the rest of his outfit is white. That's the closest we've gotten, but there's never been an actual Rainbow Ranger, and I would love to see one.
Same. Honestly.
Implemented somehow.
There's a lot of Pride stuff going on in some games. Like Dead by Daylight has a Pride charm.
I saw that. I thought
a couple of different games. What do you mean?
It's just a little thing that sits on your pants or on your shirt, that little.
To be honest, that's all they give you as charms in the game. That's all. But they could do a Pride med kits or whatever for their anniversary. They do stuff, but I think it's their anniversary right now, so they maybe didn't want to do both, but at the same time they could have done something. They could have had a Pride med kit or a Pride they do cakes or whatever. Oh my god, I really want to start playing Dead by Daylight again now because of Resident Evil. Anywho,
they've done the whole theme sets where the entire you remember the one that they did the drinks, I forgot what it was. They did the themed martinis and stuff, and they turned all the generators into they've done a bunch of the point is they've done a bunch of cool stuff. So I was all I get is
they do it for their anniversary. They do balloons. Yeah.
So all I get is a charm. Nasty, but okay.
I feel the anniversary event is going on. But they could do something else. They could do see, that's what I would like to see. Cosmetics, clothing for the characters, or even just have some of them come out. Hello, people are waiting.
We
The
all know
whole,
Dwight's
like,
gay.
fan... Exactly, so just say it. But yeah, something like that would be crazy. Like, that would be... That's what I would like to see. Shit, okay. That's my answer then, because Alright. Doesn't have to be rainbows. It could just be, like, characters coming out, because seriously, they can't all be straight.
Yeah, right?
Especially, God, what's her name? Nia? No way. Not straight. Not straight at all. Like, no way.
Gabe?
There's several things I'd like. One of the first ones is I want more rainbow-themed pops. Damn it. It's not... there we go.
For anyone
Rainbow-themed
listening,
pops.
he's showing a picture of a Star Wars rainbow pop figure.
Then this is, I guess, the
okay.
current line they have now. You have Stitch, Tina, Deadpool, Mickey, Storm, Clone Trooper. Yeah, that's 5. So more of those, because those are, I think they look beautifully designed. But another thing, rainbow-themed controllers. Like, PlayStation just finished, not just finished, but they unveiled their Cosmic Red and all black one. That would have been a perfect chance to throw some in there. And then the freaking Joy-Cons. I mean, like, the Joy-Cons are already colorful, but imagine how much more color you can get with rainbow Joy-Cons.
Oh my god, they could do like, red, orange, yellow on one, and like green, blue, and purple on the other. Oh my god, that would be so cute.
Nintendo, if you're listening to this, we know your Switch Pro or your Super Nintendo Switch is coming out. Give it to us. What we're saying.
They should just have every color by now. Why don't they? Why don't they just have like every color that you can just like mix and match?
Every color.
It's really annoying because there's like 3 different reds, and I want more. Like,
it's so tacky.
I want more of the pastel colors, like the Animal Crossing one. Like those colors are beautiful. I had to buy a whole.
Yeah, I want more orange.
Yeah. They call the red orange, and it's
I wish I could just get like pink.
Yeah, I had to buy a whole Splatoon pack for a pink.
Wait, they call that red orange?
No, not this one. This is the Mario red one. It's the original one.
Oh yeah, that's
that's red.
Yeah, that one's more like a peachish, like a coral red. I feel like, but that one that Jerel has is like red,
yes,
Mario red.
They have like 3 different reds because they have another red. This Super Mario
the
Odyssey
Mario
red.
Odyssey one. Yeah, is it the one? Yeah.
I don't even. I have every Joy-Con ever. Joy-Cons would be really cool. I'll move on now to something else that happened last week, which was the unfortunate passing of Berserker's creator Miura Kentaro, and anyone familiar with Final Fantasy XIV might know that oh my god, what is that class? Dark Knight. Oh my god. The Dark Knight class from Final Fantasy XIV is loosely based off of his manga, and a bunch of players got together to dress in their Dark Knight classes and pay tribute to him, and I thought it would be very pertinent for us to just mention how awesome that was, and the amount of inspiration that the Berserker manga brought to video games in general as a whole, and anime.
Yeah, honestly, Berserk has been like one of the most influential manga of all time, and Guts is such an iconic figure with his big sword. It's influenced so many people. The most notable example in today's gaming would be Miyazaki, the creator of the Dark Souls series and Bloodborne and such, especially Dark Souls. If you play Dark Souls, you'll see a lot of references to Berserk in terms of lore, and especially if you have a character that's wielding a greatsword, you're basically Guts at that point. It's honestly kind of shocking that FromSoft has never even developed a Berserk game, because I feel like it'd be really good, especially with how twisted that world is. Like a world like Berserk is hard. That seems to go really well with the MO of the From Software games, of being like games that are intentionally difficult. Like, I can imagine a Berserk video game with Souls-like combat to be, appropriate just for the difficulty and how dark they would get with the source mirror. But anyway, that's besides the point. Berserk has definitely influenced a lot of different people, a lot of different creators. It's very iconic. It was very nice of the players of Final Fantasy 14 to get together and honor him in this way. I think it was very nice. It also shows just how wonderful the FF14 community is compared to like other MMOs. Obviously, you're gonna have like some bad apples in every bunch, but at least for 14, the bad apples, however many there are in that bunch, hasn't soured the batch. And the fact that they were able to do something nice like this, I think it's really cool.
So, something else that happened last week, and I'm just going to round up everything that I think was pertinent before we move on to this week's news, which was Bethesda Starfield is coming confirmed exclusively to Xbox and PC. Not surprising at all. It's going to be, as far as we know, the first Bethesda exclusive game coming to Xbox. Nintendo said there were more games on the way.
I was just wondering, I wonder if it might show up in at all in any kind of form in Xbox Bethesda's E3 conference is coming up soon.
I'm sure it will.
I hope so.
It needs a trailer because I don't know what the game is.
Yeah, none of us know.
Out of here.
Ace, I think.
So
that's about it. Yeah.
Also, the first project from Final Fantasy XV's director Hajime Tabata's new studio, JP Games, will finally be released next month, and that is the Paralympics RPG, which is going to be, as far as I'm aware, the first Paralympics video game that's going to be able to be played. So I definitely wanted to shout that out too. That's pretty freaking awesome.
Pretty cool. It is.
Not to mention Apple's done a lot for accessibility as well, so shout out to them. And the Switch has now passed over 100 Nintendo Switch Online video games, or online titles for that service. And we also have a mega lawsuit against Cyberpunk 2077, among some other things. And is there anything that I'm missing from last week before I move on to this week that you guys wanted to talk about?
Not particularly. I think that was pretty much everything. All I'm going to just say is for people who are cringing at the 100 games things because it seems like trash. It ain't trash. Play some of the games. They're free. They're good.
Yes.
And if you don't feel like playing them, check out HPCritical doesn't hold up past episodes and current streams to check out what games are actually good that you may not have heard of. That's all I want to say. Continue.
So for this week, speaking of streams, Twitch says that being seen as sexy isn't against the rules, and they created a dedicated category for hot tub streamers. Anyone want to tackle this one?
Good for them, I guess, but I feel like there's other pertinent, whatever. If it's popular enough that Twitch decided to make a tag out of it, cool, I guess. I just really feel like we've talked about other tags that are still not on Twitch right now.
No, shut up. They are.
Hmm?
They are. They made the tag. There's a trans tag. There's a bisexual tag. There's a black tag. They did all the tags they were talking about. I'm sorry, Brandon. I didn't mean to tell you.
You're okay.
Hold on. Here for this. Sorry. I'm just saying they did the hot tubs category as hot tubs, pools, and other things because people do days at the beach and whatever. So that would be for there. But they added a ton of shit in tags. 350?
Yeah, it was more than 350
Sounds
tags.
right.
I did want to also
Sorry,
add that.
I didn't mean to yell.
No, you're fine.
Very excited.
I'm
I said shut up. I'm so sorry.
No, you're okay. I promise.
They also said to opt into this category based on whether it aligns with your target audiences. And the reason I brought this one up specifically is because they did mention this before we got the tags, but Kelly's right. We do have 350 new tags that we are going to talk about in just a second. But
wow.
more than 350. But the reason I brought this one up is because it did have a lot of discourse with people saying that hot tub streamers aren't for Twitch and my kids use Twitch and blah, blah, blah and bullshit. And I just want to say that if your kids are using Twitch, you should probably know what the fuck they're watching. One. Two, if I was a hot tub streamer, I am going to use these tags and make money from it just like everyone else, because if somebody wants to see me in a hot tub and a Speedo, please let me know. It will be on my own personal Twitch channel, and y'all can pay me to do that so I can continue to work on HPCritical. But yeah, I think that argument is stupid. Mm-hmm.
I just want to say this real quick because I follow a YouTube channel called Good Vibes Gaming, and they have a show called Today's News Tonight where they just cover all the news basically of the week in three new shows. And they were talking about this very same topic we were discussing, and he had just made an offhand comment well, shoot, if someone paid $69 donation, I would get in a hot tub tonight. And then 2 people donated $69 that stream, and they're saying, all right, get it done. And oh. So he came back 2 days later and streamed. They did their new show. He did the new show in a hot tub because they paid us. 2 people paid us $69. Both saying nice, by the way.
That's what I would do. Y'all pay. Literally, Twitter has that new
He was
donation
fully clothed,
feature.
I want to point out.
Oh, boo. Twitter has that new
He's fully
donation
clothed, but he was in a
feature.
hot tub.
Donate $69 to me, and I will do this podcast in a hot tub next week. Bet. I don't know how it's gonna work, but it's gonna work.
But you can't even get a hot tub for $69.
Oh, true. You're gonna have to pay
No, but
me
you can rob one.
$1,069, and I'll be in a hot
Yeah.
tub.
I think that, like, okay, people saying that children use Twitch, my channel is set for mature audiences because I say the F word a lot.
Exactly.
So, like, if they're gonna click that start watching, then they're breaking the Twitch TOS anyways, so you're gonna need to, like, put parental controls, they can't watch mature streams, okay? Like, I don't... What are you doing, Gabe? Oh my god,
Wait.
okay.
Wait, Kelly, Kelly, are you saying that parents should use parental guidance stuff for their kids so they don't watch mature stuff or play mature games?
Well, yeah. I mean, honestly, have you been on the internet ever?
The internet, it is a dark place. You mean to tell me that there's children on Twitter, this app that's rated M for mature?
Listen, like, I think that children being anywhere is, like, gross, but and ruining my day. But on Twitch they should be supervised. Children should not be on Twitter. Wait, they're on Twitter? This is like news to me.
There's some 13-ass, 12-year-old ass kids on Twitter just looking at whatever naked art that people post on their Twitter because, it's free for all on Twitter.
Honestly, I literally scroll through sometimes on my Twitter and it's just like a naked woman. I'm like, because I see stuff that people like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to see shit that you like.
People's likes?
Yeah, Gabe, your likes of naked women. I'm joking.
First of all, I stopped doing that as soon as I got accepted for HPCritical. I was like, no more.
Stop liking
For HPCritical? You can do whatever you want. Who cares? Okay, anyways.
It's just to save face, just in case. Like, oh, whatever. No, but I haven't seen anyone's likes in like about 3 or 4 years.
Maybe it's just if they're naked women. I don't know.
Oh, I guess my followers are goody two-shoes who don't like pictures of naked women because...
Well, anyways, that's... Yeah.
I'm on mute. I see likes as well all the time, and so, when I'm following game journalists, I just get a bunch of, like, video game stuff, but then when I'm following someone personal, I'm like, what is this? And I look and I'm like, oh, it's a friend of mine liking porn.
Seriously.
Whoops. I'm like, oh my god, like, this is not, and if your phone's not on silent and you're out in public scrolling Twitter for video game stuff, and then you, like, yeah. Anyway, so, speaking of those tags, Twitch added over 350 new tags to celebrate yourself and your community. They have tags related to gender, sexual orientation, race, nationality, ability, mental health, and even more. They have an entire post. I'm going to read a little bit about it from the Twitch blog on blog.twitch.tv. And basically, I'm actually not going to read a little bit about it because I don't want to go over time. But there is a section here that says keeping your streams safe. And it says our hope is that these new tags help every community, but especially those that are underrepresented, grow and thrive. As with any means of discovery, there are bad actors who may use the ability to find streams for malicious purposes. Users that utilize these tags as a means to harass those displaying the tags will be subject to enforcement of our hateful conduct and harassment policy. In order to help protect against malicious behavior, we recommend creators familiarize themselves with the available moderation tools, utilize moderators on their channels, and report anyone who violates our community guidelines. Anyway, yeah, so the tags, like Kelly mentioned, they have a black tag, they have a trans tag, they have, LGBT tags, they have also, very importantly, they said that we will, quote, we will also...
woman tag.
They do. They said, we will also remove references to ally from the LGBTQIA plus tag and are instead creating a standalone ally tag. These additions won't change how tagging works and are completely optional. They simply give creators more choices. And I know that we talked about that, so I was like, good shit, Twitch. It's so crazy that you guys are trash so much and then you finally do something that's good. But you gotta shout out and give them, credit where
it just feels like I kind of feel bad because I feel like they were probably working on this for maybe like a long time, and people just kept like saying like, Twitch, you just can't do anything, we can't get anything, and blah blah blah, and then they're like, God, we're working on it, but we're not saying it yet. Or do you think they really just waited until like people would not stop, and then they were like, okay, we gotta do this? I just think it's the sheer amount of tags. They didn't just give one. I think they had to be working on this for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and like people were just like so mad, but like they finally gave us tags.
Yeah, they didn't drop 300 like in a day. Like this had to have been like some internal meetings for a while.
I agree with you guys, but I also don't think it was that long. I think that. So first of all, they do mention that this was announced earlier than anticipated. And I'm pretty sure what they were gonna do is wait until June 1st and be like, hey, so we know all you gay guys are out there, all you lesbians and gays and bis and asexual and all you assholes that have been talking shit, guess what we got for you? Bullshit tags! I hope it makes you happy. So I'm pretty sure that we're gonna wait until July 1st to do this, or June 1st, excuse me, to do this. And the pressure made them release it earlier, and low-key, I'm kinda happy that the pressure made them release it earlier. I don't want identifying tags that would make a better, and more diverse Twitch being used as a marketing ploy for a LGBT month celebration bullshit. So I'm actually happy that they were pressured into doing this. And I don't feel bad for them because how long I don't know how long they've been working on it, but also how long have we been asking for it? Like, I don't feel bad for them. I feel like this is something that once you started with the LGBT tag, why did you stop there? And they do actually, they do actually mention that in the article, and I'm not going to read it because I want to move on, but anyone who does want to know their stance on that, you can totally read the article at blog.twitch.tv. They do mention that they started with this tag and they wanted to, move forward, but I feel like sometimes companies need pressure, right? We talked about the Elf Cosmetics thing, and, Elf has pressure. I wasn't even going to bring this up, but I'm going to bring it up really quick right now. Elf has been pressured for not having any diversity on their streams, and so now they're just reaching out to, as far as I'm aware, they've been reaching out to light-skinned, what could be passing for black women who are not makeup artists, and asking them to be a part of their stream, and they continue to pass over people like Milady Confetti, who is someone that everyone keeps saying that they should be working with. And a lot of people that they have been reaching out to have just been, saying no. They're like, no, we know what's happening. So what Kellie said was essentially true. They're shooting themselves in the foot, and they don't get diversity right. And so, to me, these companies, especially Twitch, after everything that you've been through, and for being out for so many years, how long has Twitch been this big? It's been years that people have been able to make money off of streaming content to the point that Twitch is so big that it's no longer just in the beginning it was known for gaming. Twitch is literally everything now. So to encompass so much and to wait X amount of years after being this big, after being bought out by Amazon, to finally have 350 tags, I don't feel bad that you guys were getting shit for it, because I feel like this is something that is not, I don't know, but I'm assuming it's not that difficult to create tags for people to self-identify. If it were a system where, you had to go in and make sure that this person is this, and they can only use this tag if they represent this, and, if there was some back-end stuff that was, AI generated or something more difficult than just having individuals create their own tags, then I might be a little more lenient, but I'm not. And that's all I have to say on that. Congratulations, Twitch. Thank you for doing something right, because I know it sounds like I'm complaining, but I'm very excited for this. I think this is really awesome. I think this is a great first step, and I can't wait to discover new streamers from my own marginalized groups. And also, thank you for removing the ally portion. And please, I'm writing an article right now. Please do not use these tags if you are not a part of that marginalized group. If you ain't black, don't use a black tag. Please, because I'm going to call you out, and I'm going to report you to Twitch's hateful conduct and harassment policy and say you're a liar. Don't do it. If you're not LGBT, please don't do it. Use their new little ally tag bullshit, which I don't even like that, because I don't trust it. I feel like anyone could just throw it. I'm sorry, I know Kellie's making weird faces. I feel like anyone could just throw an ally tag on there and then get rated for some nonsense, or they could do it as a joke, and then, I'm searching the ally tags, and, I go into a stream and everybody's just talking bad shit about gay people. Anything can happen. I don't personally like the ally tag, but I feel like I feel if you feel the need to add the ally tag, you and your community should already represent what that ally tag does so that you don't need it. That's how I feel about it. And that's all I'll say about it. Does anyone else want to hop in on that?
Nope.
No, I feel like I talked so much that I just shut everyone up. I'm so sorry. Anyway.
You said your piece on tags.
I think it's great. I think these tags are amazing. I'm so excited that we have them now. I think it's fucking awesome. That's really, really cool. So there's also a tweet that I shared with you guys that is from Taifu de Wolfo that said corporations don't care about pride, and it was a image of Bethesda France, Bethesda Brazil, Bethesda, and Bethesda ANC, and they all had the little square logo that were in pride colors, and then Bethesda Russia, Bethesda Middle East, and Bethesda TR did not, because obviously that's a whole nother issue with laws and LGBT and Russia, etc. Do you guys think that companies should just not do the whole pride flag Twitter emblem or pride flag, like, you know, cop cars in your city, or like, you know, pride flag or bullshit in their video games? Or do you think it's something that should continue? I'm just curious. Quickly.
Obviously the cynical take is that they don't care and it's all performative. That being said, I'd rather have it than nothing, if I'm being perfectly honest. Like, it's Pride Month. It's supposed to be like the month that's supposed to honor those in the LGBT plus community, and for there to just like everyone to just ignore it because people are just cynical that they don't even mean it. I think that'd almost be worse, like to be ignored that way. But I'm not. But like, I'm an ally, but I'm not of the. But besides being an ally, I'm not of the community, so I don't know like how I should feel about this. All I'm saying, I personally think, even if it's not genuine, I think it'd be way worse to just not have any kind of it's just pretend it doesn't exist. I think that'd be worse.
I think that is kind of a good point, but to be honest with you, like, what did you say? Like, it was about companies like honoring, like, this. It's not Memorial Day. They didn't die. Like, they're supposed to have pride. Like, people in the community are proud of who they are.
Yeah.
Like, not just companies, like, putting up a flag, like, oh, I don't know, like, I feel like it's just kind of like, okay, I guess, like, now we know that you're, like, a cool company or something. I just feel like it's supposed to be, like, for people in the LGBT community, like, we're proud of this. Like, why does, like, a corporation have to put, like, a pride flag? Like, we're proud of them for being them? I don't know. I thought the pride thing was, like, you're supposed to be proud of who you are. Like, not, like, I don't know. What are the companies proud of?
I never thought of it that way. I guess I would assume if you're like Bethesda and you know that you have LGBT, employees that want to feel represented, you want to show them that you believe in who they are, then I guess you would throw that up. But also, I completely understand, like, you're a corporation, what are you proud of? I have no opinion on this, but I do take back my opinion on the ally tag. You might be wondering why. Very simply because when Brandon said he was an ally, I was like, oh, he could totally put that tag on an HPCritical stream while he's there. But then I was like, whatever. I don't actually care. Do what you want. I'm sorry. Anything else on this?
No, I just wanted to point out, when these corporations and these businesses, whatever, like, they change their profile pictures that include, like, the pride flag or whatever, Fall Guys has actually had theirs on since they first put it on at the beginning of, not the beginning last year, last year for Pride Month. And to be honest, a lot of these corporations, their signs do look better with the rainbow. So if you want to, I guess, openly say, like, hey, we support all you guys and whatnot, leave your cool colored design on until, like, there's another special event or something, because...
Yeah, or why can't we just, like, pick that all the time? Like, why can't, someone just pick rainbow-colored logos on their phone or wherever, like, all the time? Why can't we just have that? It's 2021, hello! Why can't I have a pink Facebook thing? Come on.
I agree. I actually agree with that heavily. Like, if if you're doing like let's say it's a game. Let's say you're doing like a Pride event in a game and you're adding in like cosmetics to represent Pride Month or whatever. Can that just stay then? It's okay if you want to just time it to the release of Pride Month. That's fine. But can it just stick around? Can it not be a limited thing? Like Pride doesn't just disappear after June, you know?
I think the other thing is too, though, like a lot of the times they'll do this stuff, and like Jerel uses, not Jerel uses, but we use Black History Month as an example a lot. Month starts, all these corporations, all these companies put out their statement. Yeah, here for Black people, despite living in a systematic racism country for the longest time, and then for 28 days, I'm not going to say they'll all, but, some of them will, go out of their way to actually highlight some Black characters, Black actors, what have you. They're, tied to their company and stuff. But then as soon as March 1st hits, it's like it never happened. Another thing is, I feel like if you're going to continue to leave, oh God, I said that so wrong. But like when it comes to this stuff, like, we just talked about like leaving, the rainbow image as your profile picture or whatever. If you're going to do that, make sure it's a year-round thing where you're actually highlighting, you're still going to go around highlighting the I can never say this because it's a tongue twister to me, the LGBT us, right? There's a plus at the end?
Plus.
Or did I miss a Q? I feel like I missed a Q.
We got your point.
I missed a Q, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys know what I mean. If you to constantly keep them in the highlights, constantly keep presenting them, to your audience and stuff, because again, like, it's 2021. It's not like you can say like, oh, we've ran out of people to highlight. We ran out of Black people to highlight or all that. Like, no, you haven't, bro. There's
No more Black
7 billion people in this world. Yeah, like
we've done them all.
But that's literally what it feels like, though. Like for example, I'm gonna use Elgato again. Elgato, for every single day of Black History Month, they highlighted one specific, person of color who used their setup and whatnot. And it wasn't like, oh, this is so and so, and they use this. Yeah, go give them no. It was literally throughout the day you gained facts about that person, and it's like, you can tell Elgato was actually putting forth effort. Now, obviously, of course, they're still not doing that. Like, they're obviously still highlighting all these people, but it's no longer, like, with the theme of Black History Month. So, like, again, Elgato, who, everyone knows Elgato, but they're not, like, woo, they're not on the scale of Bethesda. They're not on the scale of, someone give me another company, please.
I mean, it's a streaming company. I don't know.
Let's move away from like games. They're not on the scale of like Nike. The fact that a company like Elgato that actually take the time to focus on all these people individually and not make it seem like it's performative, I feel like at this point there's really no excuse for just oh, it's Pride Month. Let's throw some rainbows on our profile picture and say we're here for you, and then not say anything ever again.
I think Twitch is
completely veered from my original point.
I think Twitch is a great example of what you're talking about, right? Because in February, their front page was full of Black people. I promise you, since then, you will not find a Black person on the front page of Twitch ever. Like, I have not seen any since then. Obviously, I don't log in every day, but it has returned to white men. Sometimes they'll splash a little white lady in there. Maybe a Latinx person, if you're lucky, if you catch them on a weekend. But that's pretty much it. But as a counterpoint, I do think sometimes it can be hard for companies to just leave a rainbow or a Black Fist or whatever throughout the year. And I say that because ours was there for HPCritical for a very long time. Like, I don't know if you guys knew, but the Twitter one was there for so long. I did not change it until our merch store opened. And that was just because we were going to have merchandise with the actual logo. So I wanted anyone who was looking for it to be able to recognize it and find the original logo there with what we had, because the new one was redesigned for Black History Month and Pride Month. And it was there for over a year, I think. But I do think that companies also have to remember that sometimes when people are looking for you, or if they're looking for a representative of what you are, if they're looking for your specific logo for something, you have to, and I don't even really feel this, but I do think that sometimes you do have to take into consideration what you're doing. So like, if E3 is coming up and you have like a big announcement, you want your company to be what it is, that's when you might not want a rainbow there, right? You don't want your message to get, this is gonna sound horrible, but you don't want your message to get misunderstood, right? Like if, and this is also gonna sound horrible, but if I'm I'm an indie game developer and I want the most amount of people to get my game, and I know E3's coming up and I have this rainbow and I'm like, oh my god, everyone that is anti-LGBT is not going to even give my game a chance when they see this. Or I want to represent my game at E3 so that when it's shown off at Xbox, people see my actual logo. I'm going to make sure that my logo is what it is, right? I'm not gonna have, the rainbow logo up, or I'm not gonna have a black fist up, or I'm not gonna have this or that. And I think that sometimes that may be why companies will remove it, but I say that just as a counterpoint. I completely agree with everything you guys said. Like, don't just do it and then don't do it performatively. And I think a lot of times these companies do that.
Yeah.
So, anything else on that? So speaking of Black History Month, which I for once didn't bring up, it wasn't me this time. Not really even speaking about Black History Month, but Kevin Feige, is that how you say his name? Fake? Kevin Feige? Feige? Is that really how you say his name?
Yeah.
Color my mind blown. Kevin Feige regrets whitewashing the Ancient One in Doctor Strange, and he says it was a wake-up call. We thought we were being so smart and so cutting edge. This is an article from IGN.com written by J. Kim Murphy. As we all know, Tilda Swinton was the actress who played the Ancient One in 2016's Doctor Strange. And here's a quote from the article. It says, the production came under fire for casting a white actress as a character that has been historically portrayed as an Asian male. Oh my gosh. Though Marvel Studios offered a justification for Swinton's casting at the time, Kevin Feige has now stated that he regrets the decision. He said, we thought we were being smart and so cutting edge. We're not going to do the cliche of the wizened old wise Asian man, but it was a wake-up call to say, well, wait a minute, is there any other way to figure it out? Is there any other way to both not fall into the cliche and cast an Asian actor? And the answer to that, of course, is yes. I will read one more quote. It says, we talked about Asian actors who could do it, but when I envisioned that character being played by an Asian actress, it was a straight-up dragon lady. This is from director Scott Derrickson. He said, I know the history of cinema and the portrayal of the Dragon Lady in anime Wong films and the continued stereotype throughout film history and even more in television. I really felt like I was going to be contributing to a bad stereotype. And the last statement here says, the Ancient One is a title that is not exclusively held by any one character, but rather a moniker passed down through time. And in this particular film, the embodiment is Celtic. That was Marvel's official statement on the casting of Tilda Swinton. So, any thoughts on Tilda Swinton being cast, or Kevin Feige's response of regretting the casting decision? It's gotta suck. I will start by saying, really quick, that's gotta suck. Like, if I was her, and then, 2016, 2021, he's like, yeah, I totally regret casting this white woman for the part. Why did you cast me in the first place? Why would you do that? But yeah, go ahead, Brandon.
There's a lot to unpack with this, because I really feel like this was just an example of good intentions, but overthinking this. Because yes, in the comics, like he said, now let me clarify. I did not know who the Ancient One was before I saw Doctor Strange in 2016. That's something I looked up into before going to watch. I didn't know the character. But I didn't really think twice about it at the time until this really came up. But again, like he said, he wanted to not do the stereotype of having old Asian man be the teacher of the magical arts thing, which has been done many times before. And I'm sure it was the idea when the character was originally created in the comics. So they said, well, why don't we do something different? We'll cast a Celtic woman to be the Ancient One this time, and it will be so different. and now, years later, it's like, oh, maybe that wasn't a good idea. I feel like it's a situation where, like, even if they went with the original stereotype, it probably would have also had a problem 5 years later or some years later. Like, I think the honest solution probably would have been to like cast like an Asian woman to do the role. Like that seems to be the solution. But again, I go back to my original statement. I think this was kind of like a good intention, but overthinking it. Like, and that's really just what comes to me in this situation. I don't know what else to say about it, really.
I think that just a little bit of creativity could have taken an Asian character and not made it a caricature or like a stereotype. Like they could have just casted a person and just made it different. Like some writing changes could have made that not stereotypical. And I feel like now it's easy to say, oh, we put a white woman in the role. Oh, well, I really wanted to not be stereotyping. Okay, it's easy to say that now. I mean, Tilda Swinton is a great actress. Okay, we're not saying that. Obviously, she got the role for that reason. They were casting a woman. She was a really good actress. But like, there were other ways to make it not stereotypical. They could have just, like I said, they could have written it differently. They could have done a lot of things with it. I think that coming out now is just kind of weird, unless, was there like people complaining? Like, I don't know why this is all of a sudden coming out. Maybe he really just regretted the decision. I mean, you'd think that like a large blockbuster hit like this, you would maybe like, mull these things over a little bit more. But like I said, I thought that the character was great, to be honest, but I could see it being a different person. Like, it was kind of weird that it was her to me, to be honest. I was just like, this is strange. Like, and I know the movie is called Doctor Strange, but that was just super strange to me. I was just like, this is weird. It was like off-putting. It like, she's a good actress, but I was just like, this is awkward. Like, I didn't really like the character being like that. It was weird to me, but that's just me. I just,
That was the other thing too. Is like, barring her gender and ethnicity, she was very atypical to what a typical like I don't know, magical sensei would even be like. The way her character was, like she definitely she definitely did not act like a typical. Like, of course she like imparted information, had codes, guidelines, and whatever. The same thing any other, but the way she handled things was different. The way she was teaching him about the ancient arts, or even that part where she's stuck him in the snow and like relied on him to warp down. She's like, he'll be back any minute now. And she's just like, she started getting nervous, like, oh, what if I was wrong? And he's just gonna die in the snow. So there's stuff like that where she just like wasn't typical. And like you said, it could have been they could have had some Asian male actor, and like maybe not have been stereotypical if it was that similar kind of characterization. You don't, like, just because you have this and this doesn't mean it has to be this.
So, can I ask a question? Because I'm not well versed in Marvel films. How many Asian characters are in Marvel films? Because, one, how many Asian characters are there? And then two, isn't, like, you're gonna have to educate me here, isn't the like, one Asian guy in Doctor Strange, isn't he just, like, the Asian sidekick anyway? Is he not just like the...
Wong?
Is that not like his thing? Not only that, my next question for them is, why is... If you want to differentiate yourself and you don't want to do the whole, like, Asian old, wizened person, why is your first go-to a white woman? Like, why is that? You're like, oh, we don't want to do this old Asian thing. Let's just put a white lady in there and call it a day. Like, why was that your creative answer? Like, out of everything else you could have done with that role, you decided that what you were going to do is just place a white woman there. And this goes directly back to the conversation we had about that article, which was, putting a white woman in your game is not, like, it's not the new, oh, I'm so cool thing. It literally is just the next step. Like, this, I think, is the perfect example of what that article was mentioning, because they want to do diversity, but they don't want to be stereotypical, so they just, take a white lady, throw her in there, and call her Celtic. Let's go. But yeah, I'm sorry, how many Asian characters are in Marvel films?
There's more than you might think. Like,
that are like
we're talking about just Doctor Strange. If we're talking about just Doctor Strange, like, it's Wong. I wouldn't necessarily even consider him like a sidekick necessarily, though. Like, if anything, for most of the movie, he was kind of like one of the mentors to Stephen Strange. And then kind of near the end, they became kind of like, they kind of like fought together. It's strange. Their relationship definitely evolved during the movie. I actually really like Wong's character.
How many black women are in Marvel films? Aside from Black Panther.
Black women?
Because I don't count.
That's yeah. Besides Black Panther, that's a much tougher.
I'm like, there you go. You want atypical old wizened, and they just pass it down. Why you couldn't just have a really cool black lady in the role, right? Or why couldn't you just find an Asian and do it the way it's meant to be? Like,
if you're gonna stray from the comics, if you're gonna go just stray from the comics anyways, it doesn't have to be just like a white person. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna stick to it, I can see why you would pick like only an Asian person or only this or that, but if you're gonna stray from it anyways, and it doesn't have to be accurate, the casting choices, I'd be like, okay, and like I said, they could have just totally written the character differently. If they're gonna stick a white woman in there anyways, they could have totally written the character differently.
And I only bring that up, I only bring that up because of their defense, which was like, oh, they pass it down, it can be anyone. Okay, so if they're gonna pass it down and it can be anyone, why is it not anyone? Like, well, I guess it is anyone, but like, why was white woman your go-to in that sense, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know because I've seen a number of the films, but not all of them. And I don't know how many, Asians were in Thor or in Iron Man or in whatever other movie came out aside from Doctor Strange. So I don't have the repertoire to actually speak on this.
To be honest, I can't think of any.
There's Hogan in Thor. He's Asian. I mean, Asgardian, but he's an Asian actor who plays the role of Hogan.
I don't think I've seen
I just can't
any brown
literally
Asians. I don't.
Name a main character. Like, I don't.
No, there hasn't been one.
Okay.
Shang-Chi would be the first. Shang-Chi would be the first, but there hasn't been a main before that.
When Jerel asked that, I was like, I can't think of even one. Like, I can't even think of one. Like, at all.
Like, why is
but then again, I've seen them, like, maybe once all the way through.
That's why I'm asking, but then I'm also just like, out of the movies that I have seen, even looking at the Avengers, I can't think of any, and I'm like, why would you take that opportunity away from an Asian actor or actress? Like, I don't understand, and then your excuse is kind of trash. But that's all I had to say on that, unless somebody can provide me with the list. Listeners, send me a list of Asian...
The thing is, when it comes to the Avengers, though, like, this is kind of like the thing between, like, the Eternals and the Avengers. Like, I've seen some idiots, like, oh, why is the Eternals cast so diverse? I'm like, well, because you look at the comics, because that's just generally how they are. They come from around the world. They're not what you're used to, which is the Avengers, which, usually come from America. So that's why they're all a bunch of white people, excluding Black Panther and,
Okay, Thor did not come from America,
Just had a show.
But he's still white.
Yeah. What is his name? The Falcon, Sam Wilson. Like, aside from those, yeah, but Thor's like the alien species of the whole group. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm not defending them, but like, that's why the Avengers is so like hoity-toity white people. It's because it's usually based within America.
Can I also say, I don't think that we should be, on to that point, I'm not asking them to change the Avengers, right? I'm not asking y'all to make Thor a black lady. Like, I'm not asking for that at all. Give me what the comics gave me. Do proper representation. I 100% am not asking for them to change the Avengers. But what I am saying is because the Avengers are all white, when you have the opportunity to put an Asian character, why would you make it another white person? Like, that's my whole point here. Like, if you're keeping the Avengers the way that they are, but you're taking this character out of the comic and changing them, why do you revert back to white woman for that? Like, that's my whole point. I don't think we should change the Avengers. I understand why they are the way they are, and I'm not complaining about that. I think they're wonderful. I think they're all great actors and actresses. I think they were cast really well. I'm not complaining about that. I just wanted to make that clear. That's not at all what I'm saying. What I am saying is, the one time that you do have diversity, you change it and take it away. Like, you already have all of this. I don't understand. I don't get it. Shall we move on? Everybody's good? Everybody's had their say? So, stop. Steam top selling games for the week ending in May 23rd, ordered by revenue, the amount of money that they made. Number 1 was Days Gone. Number 2 was the Mass Effect Remaster. Number 3 was Biomutant, which was a pre-order. Number 4 was Resident Evil Village. Number 5 was Subnautica Below Zero. Number 6 was Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 7 was Valve Index VR. Number 8 was The Witcher 3. Number 9 was It Takes Two. And number 10 was Cyberpunk 2077. I bring this up because that's last week's, made the most money on Steam. I bring this up because I was so confused as to why Cyberpunk is in the top 10 for Steam sales. I was also confused as to why Red Dead Redemption 2 is number 6. Am I missing something? Are they on sale? Are people currently buying these games? I know we had discussions about Days Gone, and everybody talks about how broken it was, and then we had that article about how bad it was, and then we got it for free, and now it's number 1. Were any of you surprised by this list? Any thoughts on this?
It'd be mods.
Yeah, if it's on Steam, it might be mods. Also, I saw this it was a Kickstarter for some Witcher thing. So that could be why the sales. There's a board game or something that's been backed on Kickstarter from The Witcher. It's called Old World. Anyways, I saw it. It was advertised to me because I back a lot of games on Kickstarter. But that could be why. And also, yeah, mods. And I think that Red Dead Redemption 2 has a multiplayer or something that got people kind of back into it. There was something about a character. I can't remember. But yeah.
I think I just remember something. Was it this week or last week that they announced that GTA 5 was coming in November for PS5 and Xbox?
I don't remember.
Series.
I think it was last
because if that, that's obviously a Rockstar game as well. That could have, people would just be like, man, I can't wait to play GTA. I'm just going to play another Rockstar game in the meantime. Another open world Rockstar game. And
GTA, but country.
GTA, but country. That's somewhat what Red Dead Redemption 2 is. So, yeah, maybe that's the same mentality.
It is the same. Instead of, stealing a Lamborghini, you steal a horse. And, so you crash the horse. You run people over with the horse.
There you go. They're preparing for GTA 5. How many of you guys have played Overwatch? Just you, Gabe?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we mentioned that PvP in Overwatch 2 is going from 6v6 to 5v5, correct?
Oh.
Okay, yeah. I see that Gabe feels some type of way about that. There is a comic from Penny Arcade, and I'm not gonna read the whole comic, but basically the whole subject of the comic is what happens if a decision is made that forces you to lose your job, right? So there's always been, 6 slots, 2 tanks, 2 healers, 2 DPS, however you want to do it, right? But in the Overwatch League, you have the characters that play tanks. And essentially due to this, those people who have made a living off of esports and Overwatch, it comes down to either you're on reserve and you don't get paid as much, or you don't get paid at all, or you completely lose your job off of the spot because now it is a 5-person team. I wanted to bring that up and see how you guys felt about companies making decisions like this, going from an established 6v6 from, 2016 to 2021, and then changing it to a 5v5, and how that affects the team and the players. Does anyone have any thoughts on that specifically, being Overwatch players?
I think it's bullshit. I'm not saying this just because I myself am a tank player and now I have to learn new characters, which I refuse to do for the past 5 years because it's so easy to be Reinhardt.
It is.
You just swing your hammer and block, bro. But this isn't even one of those instances where Blizzard was we're gonna experiment with it, but we're also still gonna leave the 6v6. I feel like you really kind of just hold your fist up into this steel fist and just hit them in the ball sack with that. Because to be honest, I'm not saying Overwatch was ever close to being a dead game, but the OWL did, give Overwatch a lot of publicity, but they did bring to light a lot of what Overwatch was. And, you look at it and someone I wasn't really into the competitive scene, but I would go on Twitter and I'd follow people who were into the competitive scene. They start tweeting about all these matches and stuff, and I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? So I went to go watch a couple of matches. I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty fun because it's very intense, and I feel like what Activision did, Blizzard did, like, I don't know, like there's no way I can justify it. There's no way I can defend them or see their point of view. I just think what they did is pretty shitty because it's not even like it's a team of 5 and there's no specific roles. There's a team of 5 and the part that gets cut is a tank, and a lot of tank players' whole repertoire is just playing other tanks. So you might have a person who's primarily a Reinhardt player, but then their secondary is going to be an Orisa or a Diva or what the fuck that hamster is called. Emmy. I don't think that's his name either. But
It's not.
but like, yeah. And now not only are you forcing them to either, go ahead and sit back, be a reserve, now you're going to be forcing teams to kind of hold not auditions, but kind of it's going to be like one of those like, oh, you want to learn this new player and you want to have a starting spot. So now you're going to have to you're going to have to compete with this one person who's been playing this role for the longest time, and they already have a leg up on you because they've been playing this person for the last 5 years, and you've been playing Mr. Hefty Hammer Swing over there. So I'm actually pretty disappointed in that change. Wasn't a fan of it. Again, not just saying this because I'm primarily a tank player. But yeah, it's pretty shitty. And it's going to be interesting to see how all these OWL teams move forward now. I want to see what their plan of action is going to be, as to not make that one tank player feel left out.
So, quick question. Games like League and the like are all 5v5, right?
I don't know. I don't play those.
So I'm pretty sure a lot of those titles are 5v5, and Overwatch came out as the 6v6. So I think I understand why you would go from a 6v6 to a 5v5 because that seems to be the standard. The problem is you can't start with a 6v6, screw up, and go back to a 5v5, and then, always, tanks are always fucked. Like, tanks always get fucked in every situation. And I just thought, the comic does say, most people don't lose their job from patch notes, and I was like, that is heavy as fuck, but also so true. I feel like Blizzard just keeps fucking up left and right. But thank you for that impassioned response, Gabe. Kellie, did you want to jump in on that before I move on?
Good.
Okay.
Everything is said that needs to be said.
Great. So PlayStation is developing an AI agents that will play games with you. They're collaborating with Sony's artificial intelligence department in order to create AI agents that can play games alongside human players. This was revealed within Sony's latest corporate strategy meeting documents. The notes explain that Sony AI will, which we established last year, has begun a collaboration with PlayStation that will make gaming experiences even richer and more enjoyable. By leveraging reinforcement learning, we are developing game AI agents that can be a player's in-game opponent or collaboration partner. These AI agents may be related to a recent patent from Sony entitled Automated Artificial Intelligence Control Mode for playing specific tasks during game applications. This is an article from IGN written by Matt Perslow. I think this is a really cool idea, honestly. I would love, I'd like to play games a lot. Sometimes I don't get to play with friends. If there was, a learning AI bot that could play with me, I would be like, alright, let's go, but I'm also 100% sure it'd be trash. So I'm just like, I don't know. But I think this is a really cool idea, right? I want to practice a fighting game, but I think the AI in the fighter sucks, and I can actually use, a learning AI from PlayStation, or if I don't have a full team on Overwatch and it's a 5v5 and I got 4 and I don't trust anyone to play with me, or if there's any multiplayer game, I want to play It Takes Two but my friends aren't around, I think this is really cool. Thoughts on it?
All I ever wanted was a friend. No, in all seriousness, I think that this could have some cool applications for the reasons that you said. I hope whenever it comes out, it actually works well and it's not just a computer player, because we already got those. So if it has adaptive learning, like you said, and it just Yeah, there's potential here for sure. I'd rather see how it develops. Personally, more out of curiosity than anything else. But yeah, I'm curious. I want to see how it goes.
I love that it's mostly out of
I don't know how
curiosity.
many run-throughs of It Takes Two I could do with an AI computer friend.
Yeah,
That's
you
all. That's
never-
all, as soon as I heard "play with you," I'm like, "Hello," like,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm also interested to see like. I feel like no. I feel like no, but like I feel like I'm wondering like will you be able to take them into like multiplayer games with you? Like for example, like Call of Duty. Like I feel like that's a big no. Yeah, I feel like no because like at the same time like, that'd be pretty fucking cool. Like I don't know.
Me and my AI buddy are gonna fuck y'all up.
I feel like I've just exposed myself to, I feel like, to all our listeners how lonely I am. I don't have friends that I play all these games with, but I'm just interested to see what they do with that. That sounds pretty cool.
Wait, like, can you name your AI bot? Like, is that a thing you can do?
If you on the PS5, it's like, what would you like to name your AI bot? There for like a good hour just thinking about
I can just imagine people are like explaining like, no, my girlfriend is real. She plays Call of Duty with me. Yeah. Her name is like RJ97. Hello.
Fail Gamer 21 is going to mow down Call of Duty with his robot.
Her name is
HK
Sexy Hot Girlfriend 42069. That's what I named her.
If you see me playing online and all of a sudden in my squad you see Lady D69, that's me.
Oh my god, can you imagine? Can you like set their skill level? Like the really low level males will be like, okay, I need this bitch to play worse than me or else I'll have to like harass a robot.
You have to program Lady D69 to call all your male opponents stupid man things.
Yes. Yeah,
yo, you're such a bot, stupid man thing. Yeah, fuck you.
It's officially the best
Ethan
invention.
Winters.
It's officially the best invention. So speaking of, hold on a second. Speaking of PlayStation doing patenting things, they have an article over at the SEI blog titled "Creating a World with No Limitations," celebrating GAAD to raise awareness about accessibilities and providing resources. GAAD is the Global Accessibility Awareness Day. So they decided to, like Apple, they decided to celebrate Global Awareness, Accessibility Awareness Day by mentioning how the PlayStation was gaming for everyone and supposed to be accessible. And they go on to talk about some of the things that they do, like collaborations. They talk about what they do in games such as accessibility options for The Last of Us Part 2, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, and a number of other things. And I just wanted to bring it up because I thought it was very important. I always do discuss how Xbox is really, really good at accessibility, but I do think that the PlayStation 5 is another title that moving forward is really leaning more into accessibility. So I just wanted to give a shout out to PlayStation for that accessibility. And really quickly want to talk about the Disney Spider-Man ride featuring physical microtransactions. You know, microtransactions are a thing in video games, as we know, but according to this article at GameSpot, you would be able to essentially go on the Spider-Man ride and purchase a deluxe web swinger that you can use during the ride, that you pay more money for. You do get to take it home and keep it, but this article considers it a physical microtransaction. How do you guys feel about going to Disney, getting on the Spider-Man ride, and seeing other people have paid money to do a little bit extra with web slingers in your Disney experience while you're just sitting there because you didn't buy the microtransaction bullshit?
Oh, I gotta ask, is that a one-time payment thing? Like, if you have the deluxe web swinger, like, let's say you go back to Disneyland, can you use that again?
I am under the assumption that because you get to keep it, I am hoping that you can use it when you come back. I don't think it would make sense to purchase it and then buy another of the same thing later on.
Then, in that case, I don't know if microtransaction is quite the right word. I mean, I guess kind of, but it's not what I would... Because Disney has a lot of premium services where you pay a little extra money to get, like, a different thing. Like, hell, you can go to, you can go to Epcot, go to the, go to, the fireworks show and pay a little extra to get, like, really good seating with, like, dessert, too. I don't consider that a microtransaction. That's like a premium service. Like microtransaction, I would define as like again like a game where you can play like a little extra to like get like new stuff like constantly. If this is kind of like just like a one time, it's a premium thing, not a microtransaction. Which I guess microtransaction is a premium. I don't know. Like I guess it's not wrong to call it that, but it's just not the word I would think of to describe this.
You know, when I found out that you could take it home, I was like, well, this is not a microtransaction anymore. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I thought,
this is yours.
Yeah.
You purchased a product at that point.
And, when I read it,
Unless you gotta like refill your web slinger or something. They just failed to mention that in the article, but yeah, I don't see microtransaction. That's the right word for that.
Yeah, if you have to like constantly pay money to refill your web slinger to do this something like that, then they're like, oh yeah, that's microtransactions. But it's like,
who wrote that? And then it's like ex Disney employee at the bottom, like slander.
Talk about it.
They do that stuff at Universal. Yeah, they do that stuff at Universal anyways. Like, you pay for the Harry Potter ones that are interactive, like, it's an extra experience that not everyone gets. You have to buy something. I don't consider that a microtransaction.
But those aren't part, actually, I don't care to go
They're not part of a
ride as well.
Well, they're not part of a ride, technically, but they are part of, like, being in Hogsmeade or wherever, like.
Yeah.
And I brought it back to Harry Potter because I always do. Anyways, let's go on.
Yes, let's. So, there's an article at fanbyte.com titled, Inside IGN's Battle for Editorial Independence, our morale has never been this low, and IGN employees say a week after confronting their parent company. This has been really interesting to watch. I'm gonna just, scale over this just a little bit, and then we can talk about it for a bit and move on. So, there was an article, posted, over on IGN that had a bunch of links to help donate to, Palestine, or Palestinians, based on what was happening in the world. It got taken down, by corporate, at the expense of some IGN employees who had worked really hard to get it put up and put out. And a couple of them wrote an open letter to corporate saying how they were disappointed and they felt as if their free speech was being taken away. And this is obviously me paraphrasing a lot. I would suggest that you go read the letter yourself instead of listening to what I have to say about it. And it seems as if some of the higher ups have finally responded. So I'm going to read a little bit about this and then ask you guys your opinion on it. And here is a quote from this article that says, where is it? Okay, so it says, the trouble began when the site's parent company, J2 Global, seemingly removed an article on the site titled How to Help Palestinian Civilians, which acted as a call to readers for humanitarian aid, all without editorial input or authorization. Unfortunately, the situation only appears to be growing more complicated and intense. The action was seen as a major step over the boundary between corporate ownership and editorial independence, traditionally expected in free journalism, and indeed necessary for its continued credibility. Certainly several dozen IGN staffers thought so. 2 days after the article was removed, 82 out of the 238 IGN employees signed a public statement to express their disapproval and plead their case for common editorial independence. And I would just like to shout out those people because this was really, one of them has actually been on the podcast, so I definitely want to shout out the bravery for these people and condemn anyone who's saying that they should quit their job over this situation. I just want to put that out there really quickly. Anyway, the article goes on to say that the chief content officer and site co-founder Pierre Schneider assured staff that corporate was listening and the proper people had supposedly seen the complaints and were open to a discussion. The mood turned tenuous but optimistic given Schneider's comments. The letter of disapproval originally set a date for May 21st, 2021 to hold said discussion between all involved parties. Schneider told the editors they would at least be included in those conversations. So essentially, Schneider would go to speak to the above sources to talk about the situation. But it seems the reverse now appears true. During the week, Schneider backtracked his earlier statements internally, suddenly placing all the blame for the original article's removal and the ensuing fallout on himself. If that were true, it would make the issue an entirely editorial matter, magically absolving J2 Global and Ziff Davis of the corporate interference of which they were accused. Our sources maintain this version of events was a very sudden change in narrative. One described it as Schneider falling on the sword. Up until that point, just a few days ago, the chief content officer never named himself or any editor as the source of the original decision. Now, morale is at an all-time low following a further all-hands meeting attended by Ziff Davis president Steve Horowitz. The executive described the issue as a purely IGN editorial problem, which IGN editorial, and by extension not its parent company, would clean up itself. So, essentially, the short version of that is this guy said, we'll talk to the higher-ups at J2 Global and Ziff Davis, because we've heard your complaints. Then after that, he came back and said, okay, so I was the one who made it come down. It's my fault. The decision was mine to make, and we'll see what we can do about it going forward. Very much seems like he had this conversation and he has to take the fall for this, and like the article mentions, it's no longer an editorial, it's no longer a higher ups issue, it is now just an editorial issue. And of course this happens right before E3, so I am personally just hoping for the best for everyone at IGN who signed that letter, and and just hoping that things can be handled properly for them. What I do want to ask you guys is, has there ever been a situation in which you have had to take the fall for something, or you've had a higher up take the fall for something that necessarily wasn't their fault, and how do you handle a situation like that? Or, and if you don't want to do a personal example, how do you feel about this specific example in general? Like, how do you feel that this has been playing out?
That's kind of shocking, honestly, like hearing these developments, because I didn't hear about this latest development, if I'm being perfectly honest. I'm just so curious of what the behind the scenes are of this, like...
There's one thing that I meant to mention that this article says that I did not, and it says, quote, Horowitz further attempted to pit employees against each other by asserting several people who signed the open letter were coerced or tricked into doing so. Though he did not provide any evidence of that claim, he did, however, point to the number of employees who did not sign the letter as proof that most of the company did not support it. That was the quote that I actually wanted to read. Sorry, continue.
Well, that's another thing, too, because that's... Yeah, there's something we don't know. There's something that is not being privy to, like, the public. Like, this is new information, and this sudden turn by Pierre is, like, kind of, sudden, and I just wonder the validity of it. I don't know how to feel about this just yet, because, again, I really feel like there's something we're not being told about this entire situation. So... I personally would rather wait until it develops a little more before I really give like a firm opinion on this.
Alright, so the only thing I will say is, what is trash is having someone that's a higher up try to pit employees against one another. I think that is terrible. So low down. I think that the people who signed this are really brave, because the only thing I'm gonna tackle here is free speech being taken away. I think that is exactly what this is. And I think that is totally and completely unfair. And I think to try to out or put people against those who were brave enough to stand up for their free speech is kind of trash. So let's talk about something happy, which is all the information released this week, starting with the release date for Pokemon Legends Arceus, which is January 28th, 2022.
Yeah.
And we had heard that it was coming out in January. I'm sorry, no, sorry. We heard that it was coming out in 2022. We didn't know when. We got the surprise of it coming out in January. Brandon, tell me, because you asked us in chat. Tell me, how does this make you feel?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So honestly, I'm quite mixed about this, because Diamond and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl also got their release dates, which is November 19th, I want to say. So we're looking at only like a 2-month turnaround between this and Legends Arceus. And that concerns me a little bit, because, these are two ostensibly mainline Pokemon games, and we're really only getting like 2 months to really divide them. And I don't think that's really enough time, especially for RPGs, because I feel like for some people, once there's, I don't know how many people they expect to buy both. Like, it's Pokemon. You know what? I'm lowballing it. I take that part back. But surely there's going to be some people that, you know, those played Shining the Diamond Pearl remakes. I'm just going to say that because it's complicated. The Diamond Pearl remakes, they won't be finished because they're playing a lot of other games, and Legends Arceus, and it comes out and like, well, shit, I didn't finish this one. I won't be getting Legends Arceus. Or vice versa. People just may not be interested in the Diamond and Pearl remakes right now because they are remakes, you know, after all. They'd rather just play the new thing. So they'll just go right into that and just skip out on the other one. I just think 2 months is really close for like mainline Pokemon. It was to be different if it was like a spin-off, because a spin-off may not necessarily apply to anyone, that's expected. But if they're like trying to maximize sales, that's a little weird. Now, the other thing, why I'm concerned about them saying, hey, January 2022, because like you said, Jerel, they had said right when this game was first announced, early 2022. So your assumption would probably be like, okay, this March, is an ambitious game, so probably March, maybe late April or something like that. And they say January. It's like, oh, January. Oh, you really sure you're going to have this game done? And, you know, if you're like just like waving your back to the stands there, declaring that you're gonna get that home run, I hope you can like it turns out sublimely by the time because they locked this day down. They didn't have to lock it down this early. Let's be real. Like they could have waited till June. They could have waited till August to give us this date. Now we're in May, and they said this is coming out late January. There's the date. We're sticking it to the wall. And like, okay. I guess you guys know. And like the people who are saying, "Oh, it's too soon. That game was like running 5 FPS." Like, dude, that's like they have 8 months to work on this game. They'll be able to do it if they said they'll do it in January. But I'm just worrying that like, I guess it's cool that we got the date this soon. But I'm just really hoping that if they announce it this soon, they're just like ready to do it and no one's getting crunched too. You know.
Well, I will say that you have 8 months, so to your earlier point of you want to have to buy both, you got 8 months to save up to afford both. So it's very nice to know that you're getting
if you want both.
But also to your other point, I think as far as I'm aware, Legends Arceus is one of those titles that is not going to be multiplayer. It's not going to have any like battling or anything. Yeah. So it's not a mainline Pokemon title that we'd all rush out to go buy and play with friends. Therefore, I do think it's okay for it to release in such close proximity to the Diamond and Pearl remakes. I don't see it as that big of a deal, but that's also just me because I am a Pokemon fan who's going to buy it anyway. And I think, they can easily bank on my money and money from a lot of other people. So I don't think it's too bad of an issue. The only concern I have about all these announcements is I really, really wish that they would have shown new trailers or something.
To go with this date, yeah.
Literally, it was just like, here's the release, this is what the box art looks like, see y'all in 8 months. And I was like, that's like, where's the content to go along with your announcement? That's it? Y'all don't give a fuck? Oh, y'all just know I'm gonna buy it? I mean, you're right, I am, but like, give me a trailer or something. Shit, bitches, come on. The fuck? Mm-hmm. That's all I have to say about that.
Oh, well, to go off that really quick, though, E3 is coming in a couple of weeks, so I do feel like they're like, well, we might as well just give the announcement dates, and hello, we have E3 to give out, the new trailer or whatever.
So then why not just wait?
It would have been preferred, yeah, exactly. It would have been preferred to have, like, everything in one. But I got some things to say. As someone who's always complaining about not having a new Legend of Zelda game every year, I personally think it's awesome they have two Pokemon games set so close to each other. While, one is a remake, and the other one is, a new original title. I think it's cool. I think as a Pokemon fan, you're going to have something to play for a while. Whether you speed run the crap out of the Pokemon games, which I don't know how you're going to do that with Generation 4, because that game is hard. Those games are hard. But, you'll have your plate full for at least 3 to 4 months. Look, I suck at Pokemon. Okay. Don't give me that face. That game was hard to me.
Pokemon is hard!
So you'll have, for a ballpark and say for at least a total of 3 months, you'll have something new Pokemon related to play. I already forgot what my other point was because it was going to be so... Oh, and Brandon kept mentioning, like, like, he feels like the January release is too early. I definitely feel like this is something they've been working
It
on
must be, yeah.
before anyone even got wind of. Because, again, like, the footage we got, for all we know, that could have been, like, really early footage.
Yeah.
It looked like really early footage because, as Brandon was saying, it was, the frames per second were a little chippy. Then this also falls into what Jerel said about why not give us a new trailer with the announcement dates. There's no guarantee they're gonna do something in E3. I don't know. I feel like this is one of those instances where, we're gonna trust what the company is doing, what they said. This isn't gonna be like another Cyberpunk where it's like, here's a trailer, but wait, let's delay it. Well, here's another trailer, but wait, let's delay it again, and then let's give you another date, and then keep delaying it. I definitely feel like Game Freak and Nintendo they're more precise about what, because we've already had examples of Nintendo not showing something they're not ready for.
Mhm.
Comes at the expense of Zelda fans because they've had, but there's been at least 2 opportunities for them to show something pertaining to the sequel to Breath of the Wild. But, the directors come out personally said, "Hey, still not where we want to be in order to show you everything we want to show you, so we're not going to show you anything yet." So, there's definitely that thing that Pokemon Game Freak could have done that as well. So for them to be like, hey, November, January, our games are coming those days, we're going to give you a completed product. I think they've earned the trust of the fans enough to, well, say that, but then we were also talking about how fucking the fans of Pokemon want Bandai Namco to do the mainline games now, so that completely takes apart my point. But still, I still feel like for the more level-headed fans, Game Freak, Nintendo, and the everyone who works on Pokemon has shown fans enough that they can be trusted with what they say, and that they're gonna be they're gonna bring out completed games to you.
Kelly, you do not care about Pokemon?
I don't give one tiny anything.
Not even a
Sorry.
part.
I never played a Pokemon game. I mean, Pokemon is cute. Squirtle for life.
Oh my gosh, Kelly. Well, now that you have a Switch, you know that we have to change that, right?
I'm never playing Pokemon. You better just shut up.
Oh my god.
Damn, she is just on a roll tonight. She's like, just shut that shit down right now. Shut up, Jerel. Not
I'm
happening.
tired and I had beer, so just stop.
I'm done. So, Nintendo games step onto the high school competitive gaming scene. This I thought was super cool. This is from playversus.com. Playversus is proud to be the official scholastic partner of Nintendo with the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Splatoon 2 games joining their high school league starting this fall season. You heard that right. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Splatoon 2 are now officially recognized high school varsity athletics. If you're a high school student or faculty member interested in competing this upcoming season, you can join the waitlist today. As the premier provider for students in the ever-growing world of competitive gaming, Playversus enables high school teams around the country to compete against each other through online matches and seasonal leagues. In this partnership with Nintendo, Playversus becomes the home for high schoolers to compete in official sanctioned Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Splatoon 2 leagues. Can I say, this is so cool. I wish that when I was in high school, I could join a fucking esports league to play fucking Smash and Splatoon. I'd be trash like I am now, but I would totally stay after school and be a part of that fucking shit. That's still so fucking dope. I'm sorry.
Honestly, yeah. It says a lot how big the esports scene is growing, that now we're getting varsity teams of like any kind of game, like barring Splatoon Smash, just like any kind of game is being officially recognized in select high schools for a varsity league. And if it's in a varsity league, one would assume maybe this is jumping the gun, but one would assume that if it's a varsity sanctioned like tournament, that it would like offer like potential scholarships. Even can you imagine that you get a ride to a college because you're really good at Smash Brothers? Like that would be the shit. Like honestly, that'd be awesome. But I think this is really cool. I'm like, this is definitely like the first step in something. I'm just wondering what that something is.
The first thing I would do is be like, I'm like, I'm gonna fail a class and be like, but I'm on the esports league. Just give me an A. Like, let me pass. I gotta go practice. Like,
Well, players can't even get free A's. Well, sometimes they do if the team, there's some teachers have less morals than others. Let's just say that.
I also love that faculty's included. Now I'm gonna go finish my degree and be a teacher and just join this league. And
Exactly.
kick kids'
Yeah,
asses.
seriously. I'm
that
just
was
gonna
the cool part.
Just go make.
I'm gonna pwn noobs.
Like, fuck you kids! And then go back to class
Can
the
you
next day. Like, I'm
imagine?
so sorry, guys.
Like, can you
Hello,
imagine sitting there
children.
And you're like, hey, we're short one person for the tournament, and they said we can have one faculty replacement. Can you come? It's like, oh yeah, you get over here like the biggest kid playing. They're like, yeah, you fucking suck. This is why you suck. It's like, hey, bro, chill out. These are high school kids. No, they suck.
My students
And then,
would
like,
love
literally
me.
the faculty's like, fucked your mom last night, and they could actually mean it. Like, maybe they did. I don't know. Is the teacher screwing your mom?
Oh man, my students would love
That's
me.
so
Like,
bad.
no class, no nothing. We're all just playing Smash for like the week leading up to the tournament. Like, I don't give a fuck what you're supposed to do. Your homework is to go play Smash and try to beat me in class tomorrow. That's it. Now, if anybody walks in, then, we switch it up and we throw on a fucking educational video or some shit. And as soon as they leave, we're back to what the fuck we're supposed to be doing, which is playing video games. So, speaking of, the Switch and playing video games, there have been a bunch of rumors coming out that the Switch Pro model is set to be announced before E3, which has got to be between this week and next week. Multiple sources are saying that the rumor is supposedly true. We've talked a little bit before about having a Switch Pro model. We don't know what it is, assuming a bigger screen, 1080p, OLED screen, we're assuming all this stuff. Nintendo has not announced anything. We'll obviously have more to talk about if and when they do announce it. But my question to Kelly specifically, because I think she plays her Switch the least amount of all of us, would you, I'm assuming, every time I'm online, I don't see your name. Although I'm barely online myself, so, would you buy a Switch Pro model? Or are you satisfied with what you have?
I mean, I only really play Just Dance on my Switch currently. I don't have enough games. And to be honest, I'm a PC gamer. Like, that's just what I play on. It's just easy. I have it all set up with my credit card information because I can't stop buying fucking video games. Anywho, I don't think that I would buy a Pro unless I was gonna play it more or stream from it or something. There's no reason currently. Like, I play Lego Harry Potter. I don't need 1080p for that. Like, it's just not necessary. Just Dance, the same thing. Like, it looks fine on my TV, Yeah. Mario Kart looks fine on my TV. Like, everything looks fine. I don't play it handheld really ever. So, it's really not a problem. Like, I literally don't need a Switch Pro. I mean, I love spending money, so maybe. But currently I probably wouldn't get a Switch Pro.
That was the best response ever. I mean, I do love spending money, so, if I got a big check that week, I will be buying a Switch Pro, but currently, I don't need one, None of my games require it, but if that check comes in, and I feel the need...
I'm on salary, so
fucking
I
great.
get the same shit. I get the same shit every week, so.
Okay, then, she already knows what that check gonna be. If she feel like spending it, she's gonna spend it. Brandon and Gabe, what excites you about a Switch Pro? Do you think you want one? Do you think you need one? Do you think it's about time? And tell me quickly.
I actually have something to say. There's like a quick rumor I heard before we actually started. There is another rumor going around that the Switch Pro is being made to actually replace the Switch itself. Which, the rumor didn't go into too much detail, but it was more like, the games that are going to be coming out from now on for the Switch Pro are not going to be playable on the original Switch.
Well, that would
That's just a rumor to throw. Yeah.
If that rumor is true, that would certainly... Well, first of all, let people be upset, but also that would just certainly move sales a bit, for better or worse.
I heard that, and I completely 100% do not believe Nintendo would do that.
Yeah,
I also don't either.
Yeah, like the thing is, like I was listening to the
immediately.
Rumor. Yeah, that's the thing. Not immediately. I do feel like it may be 2 or 3 years after the Switch Pro's release, you're gonna start seeing Not necessarily, it's going to be like, okay, like starting January 1st, 2000. I can't do math in my head. What's 3 years from now? 2024 or 5. Yeah, one of those 2 years. They're going to be like, oh yeah, from now on, all the games are strictly Switch Pro. But I definitely feel like there's going to start to be like, you're going to kind of speak, Gabriel, speak. You're going to kind of feel like a lot of the games are being more worked towards Switch Pro, like in the same sense where you kind of felt like some Switch games were worked more towards being playable on the screen than they were being handheld. I was going to see a game, but I completely forgot. So, yeah, I don't feel like it's going to be like an immediate cutoff, like as soon as they're like, oh, here's a Switch Pro, and then all the E3 announcements are going to be like, yeah, all these games are only available on the Switch Pro. I don't feel it's going to be like that, but I definitely feel like you're going to start to kind of feel it in a couple of years.
Can I comment on that really quick?
Oh.
I feel like you are kind of right, but also wrong. I do think that they are going to, you're going to start seeing games developed for, if there's a Switch Pro, you are going to see games that are developed that are going to utilize the Switch Pro for what it is. I completely agree with that. What is this game? Mario Kart 8? That is like the best-selling game on Switch. I think Switch is way too casual to force people to upgrade. 100%. I think it's just way too casual. Like your Animal Crossing players are gonna revolt if they can no longer play Animal Crossing because there's an update that only allows you to play on Switch Pro. Not that would happen, but your Mario Kart players who are still playing this like 10-year-old fucking game, like that are enjoying it on Switch. Why would you upset that audience and like force them into something? What are these things called that they're on the cart? They're carts, right?
Yeah, cartridge.
I don't see. I think the Switch is okay. I think the Switch is too casual of a machine to try to force upgrades on people. It's too out there. There are too many units in the wild to try to force people who have a Switch Lite or, this isn't like the 3DS, right? There's no gimmick of the Switch to, force people to switch to another Switch. That's all I was gonna say.
Right.
I'm mad you didn't capitalize on saying wild while talking about the Switch. The wild.
I failed.
To answer your original question, I 100% would get a new Switch if it was announced and coming out in September. Mainly because my Switch screen is kind of scratched up and it's annoying the shit out of me. And that's literally the only reason why.
Well, I'm a graphics whore, so I would. Done.
I'll answer the question and say, yeah, I totally would because I bought everything Nintendo. And if this was just like to make my existing games look better and to, I don't know, like Gabe said, potentially 3 and 4 years, just play like exclusive games. Honestly, I'm thinking like the Game Boy to the like Game Boy Color thing. Like original Game Boy Color games didn't require you to have the Game Boy Color. Like you just would play it in black and white. Yeah. Later games did, and that's, I guess, would be the best comparison to this one. But yeah, I would, because that would probably eventually happen. And I just, I play my Switch a lot. Like it's definitely my most played system, so I would get a lot of use out of that. So it'd be a good investment for me personally. And just a comment, I'm just so ready for these Switch Pro rumors to be over. So I hope that this final rumor that I just hope that this final rumor that we're going to hear about it before E3 is true, because I'm tired, man. Yeah. I'm tired of hearing about the Switch Pro every damn week and nothing happening with it. I'm just like, please just announce it, get me the information so we can please move on. Just like, stop.
Alright, so speaking of moving on, let's move on to the last 2 topics, which I'm going to combine into one, and that is going to be the Sonic presentation that happened today, and the Dragon Quest presentation that happened at 11:30 last night, and the Dying Light 2 presentation that happened, and the Horizon Zero Dawn...
E3 has already started, people!
Horizon Forbidden West presentation that happened. So let's only talk, because we have 10 minutes left of this podcast, so only talk about the titles that you care about. If you don't care about, let's pass, starting with the first one that happened, which was Dragon Quest 11. We got a bunch of announcements. Any announcements that stood out to you? Anything you want to talk about? Gabe, go first.
100%. The ones that stood out to me were Dragon Quest 3, the HD 2D remake. That's obviously going to be a remake of the third Dragon Quest game, which is one of the more popular older games of the Dragon Quest series, and it's gonna have, if you've played Octopath Traveler, it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's gonna look similar to that. Jerel did point out it doesn't look as beautiful as Octopath Traveler. I haven't played Octopath Traveler, so I have no input on that. But I'm excited for that one. I'm excited for Dragon Quest Treasures, which is a spin-off of two characters based from Dragon Quest XI, Eric and Mia.
Oh wow!
And he said it was gonna be an RPG, but not like the traditional sense that you're used to for Dragon Quest. And it's going to follow their childhood. We don't know the release details on that. And then, obviously, Dragon Quest XII, Flames of Fate, which, the more I think about it, and after everything I heard the creator say, some of the main points was, he said, this Dragon Quest is going to feel like it's more for adults, the atmosphere is changing, there's going to be more options within the game that change kind of the path that you take. And then the command battle is also changing, which when he said that, I'm like, well, that's funny because the sister series to Dragon Quest is Final Fantasy. And we got Final Fantasy VII Remake, sister, but they're by the same company and they influence each other more than you think. Came out last year, and it's something I feel like they were like, "Oh, let's kind of see what they do with their battle system and see if we'll be able to integrate that." I could obviously be wrong. The change could probably not even be that big, but Dragon Quest XI had a more 3D battle scene. The moves were more detailed. You also had like a free-form move within the arena where you can move your character around. So it'd be interesting to see that. But again, to me, I think what captured me the most about this announcement was the way they did it. Was because Dragon Quest is usually very happy and spunky, and it's very cartoonish. But this one was literally like just barren rock, and then all of a sudden fire started erupting from it. That was the word I was trying to put in the article. Erupt. I mean, fire started erupting everywhere, and it zooms out and you see the X and the 1 Roman numeral and you're like, okay, Dragon Quest 11. And then all of a sudden one streak comes by and it's Dragon Quest 12 and a voice says, they say it in Japanese, I can't speak Japanese so I'm going to say it in English, and the quote was, "What is the purpose of life?" And that's just like, you're going to tease me like that. I mean, obviously. I mean, honestly, with the way it was like, the theme, like all that barren land, I feel like that's the purpose of life, to get myself set on fire. But those are the 2 out of the 6 announcements that intrigue me the most, and you'll be able to see the other 4 announcements in an article that'll come out later tomorrow.
Yeah, because it's
written by me.
Written by Gabe.
It might be out.
Kelly, did you see it? Do you care? Dragon Quest?
I don't care about Dragon Quest, but Dying Light 2. Yes. That was what I was, very interested by, obviously. It looks really good. I'm actually playing it right now. I'm just, checking it out because I didn't get to earlier. I mean, it looks legit. The graphics look a lot better. I feel like the zombies look, less stupid than the first one. I did play the first one. I never beat it, but
Same.
They're doing, some slide tackles and some, final kills, and it's just, pretty cool. Because the parkour element in the first Dying Light was, huge. So I hope that they kind of perfected it, because I feel like it was a little clunky. But it looks really good. I mean, I'm looking at a chainsaw or something. It's pretty cool. I think that it's going to be definitely something I'll check out. And I've been looking forward to Dying Light. I actually wrote about it in one of my articles. It's supposed to be out this year, and it's December 7th, so I was glad to finally get a date.
Gabe, did you want to talk about Dying Light or Horizon Forbidden West?
Yes, really quick. I'm not going to talk about Dying Light because I don't care about that one. But Horizon Forbidden West. Horizon Forbidden West definitely looked. I only saw screenshots and little clips of it. Looks graphically amazing. It looks so well done. For now, for what it is, there can still be a lot of work done, as Jerel is going to say in a couple of minutes or seconds. But my main thing for Horizon Forbidden West is, just like back in 2017, Nintendo, it's your turn. Horizon already went. It's time for Breath of the Wild. Snappy, snappy. But no, Horizon Forbidden West looks really beautiful. I want to see more on that game. didn't get very far in the first one, but after watching that trailer, I'm definitely going to go re-download it and finish it.
Brandon, Dragon Quest, Horizon Forbidden West, and Dying Light. Anything?
We're not doing Sonic as well, or?
Oh, fuck Sonic. I forgot. And Sonic. I'm so sorry. So much was announced for Sonic, yeah. You're wearing the shirt. Yeah. Like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I was like, all good. I can consolidate my thoughts on Dying Light 2 and Horizon in pretty much the same sentence. Both games look great. However, I haven't played either of the first one, so I would like to do that first before I do a real deep dive into either of them. And once I do, yeah, those games look great. So that's all I have to say about that for the moment. Dragon Quest 3. Gabe, I'm surprised you didn't mention the fact that you are of course aware that like 3 is like one of the popular ones. You said that. I'm surprised you didn't bring up the fact that that's the hero you usually made in Smash.
The best hero.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I think that looks really cool. Like I adore the Octopath style. And the fact that it's being applied to Dragon Quest 3, one of their more popular entries, is really intriguing. I'm definitely going to give this one a try, hoping they do this for other Square Enix games, but that's an entirely other topic. But, yeah. And 12, yeah, I'm excited for 12. They're going a different direction with it. I'm interested in seeing how that turns out. Still got to finish 11, but, 12 should be a lot of fun. And as for Sonic, there wasn't a huge amount of, like, really substantial stuff. Of course, I'm interested in, like, the animated shows that they're going to be putting out, like, 'cause I enjoy those stuff a lot. I'm really excited for Sonic Colors Ultimate, actually. I played it on Wii. It's actually one of the better new Sonic games. It's also a fun fact. It's, like, Roger Craig Smith, who, like, recently was announced to be, like, coming back to the role of Sonic. That was the very first Sonic game he ever voiced, Sonic Colors, back in 2010. And now it was coming full circle. He's being announced to come back as his role, and Sonic Colors is also coming back as like for all systems now, not just a Wii exclusive. Or it was a DS port, but it was very different. But yeah, glad that more people can try out this game because it's really good. I'm definitely looking forward to that. And whatever this new Sonic in 2022, I'm sure. Well, we'll see what happens with that. Vision looks pretty good, but we know literally nothing. So I'm gonna take that with a grain of salt. And Sonic Origins, cool. Another collection of older Sonic games. Sonic 3 is on there, which is a game that doesn't get collected out too often, so great.
I'll go really quickly. Starting with Sonic, because you just brought up Sonic. Those were the weirdest fucking game tie-ins. Aside from Sonic being in Judgment,
yeah.
The hospital one, 2 Point Hospital, or whatever that game is called. Like
Toby loves that game.
I do not want Sonic treating me as a doctor. It was so weird. But the worst one was Sonic in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. That Sonic outfit looked so bad.
Hold on. It does look bad. I have a question, though. I have just a legitimate question, because I actually don't know. Whenever the Tokyo Olympics actually happen, regardless of whether it's this year or if it gets pushed another year, is it still going to be called Tokyo 2020?
I don't think so, no. But I think the game has
to
then
be why
at this point.
I guess so, because, yeah.
The game's already made, so, like, you can't just go back and change everything in the game, so, like, I'm assuming that's why it would still stay 2020.
Okay, sure.
But that Sonic looks so bad. I was like, why, who okayed this looks so shitty? It looks so bad. They should have just not done it. The best one was adding Sonic and Lush, it's called Lush Judgment, right? Or
yeah, you can. So the Yakuza and Judgment games have
Judgment.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted.
I just wanted to mention real quick that for those who don't know, in past Yakuza and Judgment games, they have the thing where you can go into an arcade, and a lot of those characters let you play legitimate classic Sega arcade. So yeah, you'll be able to play Sonic the Fighters in Lost Judgment by going to a Sega arcade. So that's just the latest cool thing to have. Before this announcement of Virtua Fighter 5, which is now coming to like the systems, that was like one of the only legit ways you could play like Virtua Fighter 5 modern consoles and like Yakuza games by going to the Sega arcade. It was weird.
And that was all literally what I was just about to say. But thank you.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. You said it for me. Yeah, so Lost Judgment, playing Sonic in the Lost Judgment game was the coolest tie-in. I think the orchestra is going to be really cool to watch for free. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, can't wait for that. Yeah.
And everything else I didn't really care for, except for the new game. So I'll wait to see what the new game is. Horizons Forbidden West, everyone was talking about how beautiful it looked. I thought it looked good. I thought it looked cool. I think it looks really fun. I think there was lots of clipping and her hair and the clothes. I think that some of the textures needed work. I think that it's not as beautiful as everyone's freaking out about it to be. And that was my concern. But also, I am a graphics whore, so I am the person who's going to notice all this stuff. It looks like it just needs polishing. But I think all the traversal in that game is really, really dope. Like, it's really cool to see the fucking Zelda glider, or Paris paraglider, or whatever, that she now has, and being able to just fucking go around anywhere, being able to swim. The dinosaurs look amazing. The robots, rather, look amazing. The game looks hard. I was like, how the fuck is she gonna take down this elephant? And then she did, and I was like, there's no fucking way I could play that. Like, but it looks really good, but there's still a lot of fucking polishing that needs to be done with that
I
game.
want to mention one thing that I forgot to mention, because while that presentation was going on with Chris asking me about how she liked the swimming in particular, because Aloy was doing like a breaststroke to swim to dive downwards and a dolphin kick to go upwards, and she was saying it was making her former swimmer heart happy. I was like, oh, that's a good attention to detail then. As a swimmer, she realized that they were paying attention to that detail. That's cool.
If only they didn't, have her hair clipping through her outfit while it was happening.
Yeah, that'd be nice, but the game's still. We only have a day, so I'm sure they're still working on it. It's cooking.
A hater.
It's cooking. It's a little pink in the center, but they'll cook it out.
Yeah, they definitely have much more time. Like, I'm just being a hater. I think it looks great, and I will be playing it probably day one. I just wanted to point that out there for everybody who's like, oh my god, it's so beautiful. Like, Have you actually watched it? Like, rewatch it. You'll see some of the. It also just seems really like she was moving too slow for the environment. I don't know. I have to rewatch it. Whatever.
She did well, and from what I played in the first game, she just feels like she moves too slow no matter what. When I played the game, I'm like, why is she like? You're in this wide open world, and you're like taking baby steps. Move, let's go.
Well, oh my god, that reminds me of something I hate so much. My biggest pet peeve in that presentation was the fact that this bitch was standing up. And, like, they didn't see her. I was like, she's right there. Like, the grass is here, and her head is like this. And I'm like, how do y'all not see her? She's fucking standing right there. And, like, all the fucking machines were just like, nope. The people. She was listening to them and watching them. She was, like... I understand that you're hiding when you're behind the grass, but I was like, her whole fucking head is out. Like, how do y'all not see her? That bothers me so much. She's not hiding. Like, there's no reason the AI can't turn around and see her. And I guess that's how the whole game's gonna be, and I'm gonna just be mad the whole fucking game. And then even when she, like, runs up, I was like, how do y'all not hear her? She's loud as fuck. Like, Aloy's talking all the time. She's so loud. She never ducks all the way. And I was like, okay, well, this stuff is just all trash. So at least she breaststrokes the right way. I sound like such a hater. Oh my god. I think the game looks good. What else was there? Oh, Dying Light 2. I think it's gonna be really, really cool. I love that you are now being able to make decisions that are gonna affect the game. I love that there are 3 factions, and depending on what you do, you can choose, like, whatever faction you choose, you have to, like, talk to the people there, and you get these relationships. The fact that you have to stay human, the fact that it's called Dying Light 2 Stay Human, the fact that you can turn into one of the infected and become a monster, like, I didn't finish the original, so I don't know if that happens in the original. I don't remember that happening in the original, but the fact that that can happen in this one is really cool. The relationships in this one is really cool. The way that what you can do will affect the world is really awesome. The fact that they added double the parkour moves, and not only are you going, like, vertically now, there's a lot of horizontal movement now. The combat looks really great. It looks really disgusting, like, limbs flying everywhere, blood everywhere. It's my thing, and I can't wait to play it. What was left over? Oh, Dragon Quest. I think that Dragon Quest 12 is a thing that's gonna come out. Awesome. I'm just kidding.
That's not what I expected.
Because I played through Dragon Quest 11. I didn't finish it, but I played some of Dragon Quest 11. I thought it was really nice, really cute, boring RPG. And I say that, having not finished it, maybe my mind will change when I finish it. I thought it was very... Oh. I think the Dragon Quest games are very, like, baby's first RPG. And that's cool. I like the characters. I think their designs are really cool. I'll feel free to disagree with me. I think the designs of the characters are awesome.
Yeah.
But I think those games are very much kind of boring, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just think they're fun boring. I know that's an oxymoron, but they're kind of boring. Like, in comparison to the games that are coming out, Dragon Quest XI is a boring JRPG to me, but it's still good. It can be boring, but be good. So, 12 I have hope for. Now that we're moving to a more mature, interesting, more hopefully deep story that is more riveting, more adult centered, I can get behind that. So hopefully it becomes something that's really cool. It's not something I'm going to buy day one for sure. I'm going to see like what happens before it progresses on. Yep.
This is more of a complaint about like the presentation than anything you just said. So, were you done? Because if you weren't, this is like completely slide in.
I was just gonna. The last thing I was gonna say about that was they also didn't show shit, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like they showed
Which
stuff.
I get, but that's something else I'm gonna add on to complain about the presentation itself. At the beginning of the presentation, they did say we're gonna get 6 new titles that were gonna be shown the gameplay or a trailer. That last one kind of counts as a half because it literally was a teaser trailer. Like we didn't get anything besides the title and that one quote, "What is the purpose of life?" The other thing I was gonna bag on them for was now I mentioned earlier that Dragon Quest came a year before Final Fantasy, and it's also made by Square Enix. But the thing is, the difference between the two is one, like Jerel said, it's a fun, boring, but also it's didn't do so well in the West. That could be contributed to the art change of the boxes, whatever. And it's slowly been gaining traction, but I personally feel like what really got Dragon Quest, like, West attention is definitely Dragon Quest 11, whether it be the original one or Dragon Quest 11 S Echoes of an Elusive Age. So I was actually... Yeah. Oh, that's right. I forgot the last little 2 words. I was a little disappointed that there wasn't a lot, like, this is just a personal nitpicky thing, that they didn't show more of, hero number 11. Well, you can't really see him up here. This is hero number 11.
Okay, Brandon.
I didn't take a page out of it. Does he have it too?
I'm sure he does.
Oh, here it is.
There it is.
Yeah, got it right here, of course.
There we go.
Always within
I'm
reach.
a little disappointed he wasn't, like, mentioned. Like, they didn't really give thanks to Dragon Quest 11 that much. Like, yeah, they had Dragon Quest Treasures, which is a spin-off, but, like, I don't know, like, I feel like if I was not the team, or, like, someone who really worked on Dragon Quest 11 was like, well, where the hell is they don't have names, they're literally just called well, they have names, but I already forgot them, but they're just more known as the Luminary or Heroes. So it was a little disappointing not to see Dragon Quest 11 kind of take up more of a spotlight, as it is one of their games that they keep pushing in the West. Like, it originally came out in
17, I believe, was the original.
2017, and then they re-released it again 2019 for the Switch, and then 2020 for all other platforms. So it's like, you're celebrating your 35th. I know it's an ode to the entire series, but, maybe throw this guy in. I mean, he's also the hero they showed first for Smash. Like, it would have been nice to see him a little bit more. My only little nitpick thing of the presentation.
It's always just the story of, like, oh, you're the hero from the small town,
Yeah.
and you gotta go save the world, and oh, look, a giant bird. Guess what's gonna happen? Your magical powers are gonna pop out right now.
I will say, though, some of the earlier titles, I think it was Dragon Quest, well, 3 is one of them, and Dragon Quest 5, those 2 titles are known to be more, like, the more advanced of the titles. I remember Dragon Quest 5, I think you basically built your party. It wasn't like you have your set characters. Like in Dragon Quest 11, you meet Hero, then you meet Eric, and then, the rest of your party is already planned out. I think I was like the last one to be like, oh, here's your hero, you fill out his class, and then you make the rest of your party. So I kind of feel like maybe if it had kept that route, it would have been a little bit more fun for you, but I will agree, Dragon Quest 11 is definitely like, I've said this a long time ago, it's basically like reading a book before going to sleep. It's just, you have a story written out to you, you get to play through the story a little bit. Most influence you have is whether you beat this guy or not, and you just get to try again. So I definitely understand when you say it's a fun boring, because it's very traditional in the sense of traditional RPG. It's, here's your hero, go save the world.
And I don't mean to rag on it. Like, I'm sure people love it for a reason. Just for me, it's very much like, yeah, I'll play through it. It's fun, but also, like, I can 100% tell you exactly what's gonna happen. Maybe until the end. Maybe there's some big twist. But even then, that twist probably won't change my mind about Dragon Quest XI. Which is not a problem. Oh, there is none?
No, there's a twist in 11, but like I sat there and when it happened, I was like, wow, for like maybe 2 seconds, and I was like, yeah, no, I expected that.
See? And I also don't think it's the character choice because, Final Fantasy VII, you don't really get to, there's a lot of Final Fantasies predetermined, list of characters to choose from in your party. And also, lots of Final Fantasy, titles have, not lots, at least 2 of them have little, Dragon Quest, Easter eggs. So one is Final Fantasy 12, the other one I forgot. But yeah, there were cute little Easter eggs for Final Fantasy, or Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy. Yeah. So last thing I'm gonna say is the HD 2D remaster of Dragon Quest 3. I was interested in it, and then I realized that it was just another Dragon Quest game, and then I didn't care anymore. I also don't think it looks as good as Octopath, so I mean, I'm really excited for everyone who is excited for that. I'm much more excited for a question that Brandon posed in our Slack channel, which is what you would like to see Square Enix redo in that style, which I won't discuss now because we're out of time. But yeah, no, cool, I guess. I think it's really awesome that they're doing that for Dragon Quest 3, one of the most popular ones, so now people can re-experience it. I think being able to experience old games is always awesome, but I personally will not be buying it because I don't care to play through Dragon Quest again. And that's it. So with that, I'm gonna say goodnight to you guys, and we'll see you guys next week. Most likely, you're gonna have to hold off for episode 69, probably, because we're probably gonna do some E3 talk next week. Most likely some E3 predictions with a guest, and then E3 talking conversations, and then episode 69, because we gotta prepare, we gotta make sure we got all the raunchy stuff for you. And also, if you're listening to this, make sure you check out HPCritical.com. We have articles up right now that I wrote personally for Dying Light 2, as well as Sonic. If you missed any of that, you can read everything that was covered. Gabe's article on everything covered for Dragon Quest is coming out. I'll probably write something on Horizon Forbidden West tomorrow as well. So keep it locked to HPCritical.com for all things E3. And the HP Critical podcast crew will be talking all about it as well. So with that, good night, everybody. Bye.
Hey.
Let's go! HP Critical!